What a trip! This was so fun! So awesome! Can you believe the sunbeam? Perfect, couldn't have been better. We found this amazing lavender field. Look at this. Look at this mountain. Can you believe this? There's so much beauty in a picture of a flower. Check this out. Like, absolutely so incredibly epic. You can't give up. If you have your heart set on something, you need to keep pursuing it. Woo! Unbelievable. We made it. It's almost game time. Can't wait.
Can you believe this place? It's like all Wonderland.
The trip is over, but wow.
Wow.
Like, wow.
It was amazing.
Welcome to the Photography Academy Summit 2021, where you will create the best photo of your life in just 5 days. Your host for this summit is the founder of Photography Academy, author of the Photo Cookbook, creator of the Photography Transformation 4-Step System, and winner of the International Nature Photographer of the Year Award from Master Photographers International. Introducing your host, Tim Shields.
Yeah, we are on day 5. We did it. I can't even believe we made it this far. It is so awesome that you're with us right now. I am so honored that you are joining all of us, and I'm going to talk more about the team that's behind this production and what an awesome event it's going to be. I just read a comment in the post or in the feed from Matt Harrison. He says he hasn't been this jazzed up about something in, I don't know what he said, in forever. And you know, it's like Matt Harrison caught it, like he got it, that we so often we're thinking about photography and it's the numbers on the lens and the type of lens and the stuff and the sensor and the megapixels and the exposure triangle. That's not what the awesomeness is. The awesomeness is the experience. And it's that process of creating the best photo of your life. It's not the moment you pick up and go click. It is literally the moment you see a photo that you love and you say, dang it all, I want to go there and I want to get my own photo and it's going to be even better than this one. And I'm going to start that research right now and I'm going to start planning right now. And you can start today. Like you're literally creating the best photo of your life this whole week, that you're getting that inspiration and it's that trigger point, the launching point, so that you will say, I am going to make the plan. I'm going to get myself to the right place at the right time, and I will understand what my camera settings need to be. I will understand the rules that go into making the best, most powerful composition, and then the technical stuff is taken care of, and what's left over? The adventure, the excitement, and that's what is so awesome about adventure photography, be it macro photographing the little stuff or big landscapes or those animals that are moving and the birds that are moving all the time. It's so fun, and it really is the adventure of your life. So we're going to look at what the schedule is for today. And got to drop my add to the stream. There we go. And the schedule for today, we are going to be doing some live photo editing. And I'm going to be editing some photos like quick, like bang, 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 right in front of you. And then I'm going to open up my camera bag and show you the actual gear that I use, the stuff that I take with me out into the field. And then we have more prize giveaways like this stuff right here. We're going to give away today a portable hard drive, and I'll talk more about portable hard drives in a little bit, but wow, they're really important if you're going to be going away anywhere. You have to be backing up your photos. So if you want to participate in the live draw, you need to stay to the end, and we will be selecting the names based on the names who are participating in the chat. So make sure that you are participating in the chat, and that's how you have a much better chance of, actually the only chance of winning our photography gear. So I ask you to treat this 5-day live summit like it's an opportunity for you. You're getting about $1,000 of free training, the value of the training through the live event. You're here for free, but even though it's free, I want you to value it and take it seriously. Often we don't really value what we get for free because it's just free. You know, it's like watching a video on YouTube. You don't value it so much, but I'm asking you to value this time and to treat it as an investment in you, an investment in your time. We do have replay videos from the previous 4 days. They're inside the Photography Academy Facebook group. And to find them, you need to click on the little tab at the top that says announcements. And all 4 of the days are there. And the replay from this video on day 5 will also be there for the remainder of the weekend until Sunday evening. So a very big thank you to the over 1,600 people who watched the summit live yesterday. Thousands more watched the replay. We had about at least 10,000 comments across Facebook and YouTube during the live broadcast. And for those of you watching on YouTube right now, you're watching on my YouTube channel called Tim Shields Photography. We've got over 100 adventure photography videos on that channel. So if you love adventure photography, and clearly you do because you're here right now, then please hit that little red button that is a subscribe button and the little bell beside it. And that way you'll get all of our next videos. So let's talk about the day 1 challenge. On day 1, I gave you a challenge, and it was to make a declaration. What do you want? It's not good enough just to say, I want to take nice pictures. But really, what do you want? What's your goal in your photography? Where do you want to go with it? Remember that spectrum that I talked about? On one end of the spectrum, it's, I just want to take beautiful photos that I'm really, really proud of. And on the other end of the spectrum, it's, I want to win awards. I want to sell my work. Maybe I want to teach photography. Maybe I want to host workshops. Wherever you are in between those 2 points on the spectrum is great, but just be clear about what it is you want, because if you don't have a goal, you're never going to get anywhere. The goal for day 2 of the challenge was to help you develop your own signature style. And this is connected with finding your own voice through your photography. And so now, with what you know about the genres and the specific styles of outdoor photography, I want you to, again, look at the photos that you've seen during this 5-day summit, the photos from our 6 presenters. Ask yourself, what's the individual style that each photographer is showcasing, and what is the voice of that photographer, and what is appealing to me? What resonates with my heart? And then that is probably a great indication of where you want to go with your photography. The day 3 challenge was to find and identify a photo location near you that you will take in the next month. So this is the research component. So this is getting online and going to websites maybe like 500px.com or doing Google image searches, looking for places that are kind of near you, that it's reasonable that you can get there, and then making a declaration and a plan. Like, it's great to do research. Oh, I want to go there. But if you don't actually make a plan, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to pick up your camera and walk out the door. So day 3 challenge was make the plan and make a declaration. I'm going to go here at this time. And then the day 4 challenge, identify the 2 goals in the camera settings. And I went over it again and again and again. Remember, it's number 1, first goal is to have a photo that's sharp. And the second goal, to have a photo that is correctly exposed. And especially in landscape, that means not having blown out highlights in the sky, not having an overexposed sky. And here's what we've been seeing. We saw this today in the Photography Academy Facebook group. We've started seeing some changes in the way users are taking and editing their photos, and more than ever, we're seeing users painting with light to highlight the hero. Like in Rachel Meyer's photo on the left, and like Don Eagle did in the photo on the right, he created a composite photo. In the middle photo, Jet Leedsma said, I took this right after a big thunderstorm this afternoon on my iPhone 7 and edited it using the Lightroom app on my phone. I used a black grocery bag for the background because it was the first black thing that I could find. And obviously, the idea for that must have come from our photographer presenter, macro floral photographer amazingness, Tim Dehan. And seeing these changes, seeing these photos makes me really, really proud. There's no better feeling for me than being able to inspire others with photography, which is a big reason why we put on this free event over the past week. And we still have so much more coming up in today's session. Another couple of examples from the Photography Academy Facebook group. We've been seeing a lot of people who have joined us live for this summit posting their own floral macro images. And some are using professional setups while others are simply using their phone cameras. And look at the stunning results that we see here from Daniel Ostler on the left and Thomas Leach on the right. And from Eva Maria Lang, she is one of the admins in our Photography Academy team. And this week she re-edited some of her old photographs using techniques that she learned during this summit. Her photos are incredible, and it's also so awesome. She said that she lives only about 2 hours away from this mountain here. It's called Sasita in northern Italy, and you remember this from my story, I think on day 2. So, as promised, I'm going to edit your photos while everybody watches. We had hundreds and hundreds of photos submitted for this event. It was so difficult to choose. So many of your photos were so good. I wanted to edit them all. So I ended up having to choose photos that had the biggest teaching opportunities with them. So do you want to see some awesome photo transformations now? Put something in the chat if you want to see this. We've got some really great before and afters coming up. So drop a comment in the chat. I will edit as many photos as I can within a short time, and I'll talk you through the process so that you can learn to edit photos the same way that I do. I love doing this inside my live coaching sessions, but I want to make a really big point here, just kind of a caveat. In the interest of time and to keep this live session moving quickly, I will be editing these photos really, really fast, and I'm going to be talking fast just because I want to keep this live broadcast moving as quickly as possible. But during my actual coaching sessions, I do not move nearly this fast. I explain every move, and I stop in real time to get questions to take questions from the group. We are looking at photo number 1. This was taken by Karsten Grunbeck Photos, and that is his Instagram handle in the top left corner. He's a photographer from Denmark. He takes great pictures. You can give him a follow on Instagram. I'm sitting back, I'm looking at this photo from the Faroe Islands, and I want to ask myself, what is the hero of the story? Clearly it's this area, the sun is on it. So let's accentuate and make the hero of the story pop. But before we do, I want to drop down the highlights, which makes whatever is bright less bright. I'm opening up the shadows, setting the white point while looking at that graph up at the top called the histogram, and now setting the black point. And just with those 4 moves, we made a big difference in the photo. But I want to turn down the exposure on it because I want kind of a dramatic look here. And let's shine a spotlight on our hero of the story, which is the land over here. I'm using what's called the radial filter tool. It's just a circle tool. And I am going to now shine a spotlight on that area of the land. I like it, but it's kind of hazy. So let's turn up the dehaze, which gives more contrast. I love the dehaze tool. It's just like the best secret weapon for landscape photography, photo editing. And right away, without doing very much at all, we have made a massive improvement. Let's do a quick crop on this. I'm going to change the aspect ratio so that the photo is not so tall. We don't need it to be so tall. We don't need to see the top of that mountain. It's not beautiful. And that is I'm cutting off the end of the point there, and I don't want to do that because that's a friend of the hero out there. So call this done, click, and let's deal with the villains. The villains, it's this fence. So let's create a brush, and I'll turn on the red paintbrush for you so you can see what I'm going to brush here. And I'm brushing along the bottom. Just got to turn off auto mask. Brushing along the bottom, brushing up the side here. That's kind of the ugly part of the photo. And now turn off the red because you know what I've brushed, and reduce the light. Let's just turn down the light there. Done. Let's deal with the ocean now. Let's deal with making it looking more blue. So I'm just holding down my mouse button and I'm brushing, and now we can change the color temperature. I could make it as blue as I want, and I just want it to be realistic. I don't want it to compete. I don't want those blue color tones to compete with those beautiful color tones on the land. I brightened up the ocean a little bit, and I like that. Create one more brush, and let's darken the right-hand side because I want your eye going over to the hero of our story, I don't want your eye over there on the ocean. So I'll just darken the right side just a little. Now let's deal with the sky. This light here in landscape photography is called a God ray, and landscape photographers love them. It's a very special day when you find yourself with your camera in your hand and you see a God ray. So I'm painting over the God ray because I want to make it pop just a little bit more. And I want to change the color temperature there as well. So I'll turn up the God ray just a little and warm it up just a little. Now let's do the opposite for the part of the sky that doesn't have the God ray, and let's cool the color tones in the sky so that we can actually create more drama. And I'm brushing over both parts. I'm not going to turn on the red here just to save time. And let's darken the sky a bit. Let's turn up the dehaze to give it more drama. Not too much. And now let's cool off the color tone. See, I could make it really blue. I don't want to. I just want to create a contrast between my God ray and the rest of the sky. So I now see that my God ray is a little bit too warm because it's just a little bit unbelievable, and turn down the light on it just a touch. And now we really see it. So that could take just a little bit more work. Okay. There we have it. I'm trying to do this subtly without overdoing it. That's the last thing I want to do. So I'm just going to sit back and look. Is there anything else? Yes, the last thing is the shoreline. I see wet rocks on the shoreline. I'm painting over the shoreline and all those rocks. And what I want to do is make whatever is bright even brighter without making the dark stuff bright. So I go to the whites slider and turn it up. And now whatever is bright becomes brighter. Same thing with highlights. Turn it up. And last but not least, a little bit of white surf. So I love the look of that white surf. I'm just painting over it one more time. And let's turn up the lights on the white surf. And we will call this done for now. Last thing. Okay, I just have to do this. Last thing. I'm just going to put little tiny brush spots. I'm just clicking and holding, click, hold, click, hold, click, hold on all these houses. And I'll leave that last one. That poor family is not going to get lit up. And now I can brighten those houses. I just want them to pop just a little bit more because they're just so cool. And it helps to tell the story of this photo, that there are these families that live there in this incredible place. So here is the before. That's what we started with this photo. And here is the after. I think it's a pretty big dramatic change. And once again, there's the before, and here is the after. Photo. This is the cutest little guy. Look at these little hands just holding onto that leaf. That's just so awesome. I love that. So let's do a number on this one. What is the main subject? Clearly, it's the little guy. I'm not even sure the species here, but what is the villain? It's the background. It's so noisy. It's cluttered. So let's right off the hop reduce the overall look of that background. So I've reduced the highlights. Whatever is bright becomes less bright. I will even turn down shadows in this case so that we really just don't see this background. I'm going to turn it down even more. So now we're just not seeing the background at all almost. I'm really minimizing it. So now I want to shine a spotlight on this little guy, and I will first choose the radial filter and just create a shape just like that, move it over him, and I have to turn it inverted. And now let's shine the spotlight on. I'll turn up the brightness on him, and that's looking nice. I love the colors, just amazing. Let's turn up the dehaze a little bit on him too, because I want to see more texture. And speaking of texture, there is a texture slider. So let's turn up the texture slider and really bring up that look of the texture in the skin there. What I'm adjusting here is called the clarity slider, and it brings up detail. And for a little animal like this, it's absolutely perfect. So I want to now get the little arms because they weren't included in my circle. So I'm just holding down my brush tool over top of this arm and then holding it down over this arm and this little hand and over this little part of the hand there. And now let's turn up the light on what I just brushed. There it is, so that we can see more of that detail. Turn up the clarity again because that looked really good the first time around, and turn up the texture. And now we have a huge difference. So what else do I need? I need a crop. And a crop is just such a powerful tool. We don't need the same height at all, so I'll go with a 16:9 aspect ratio. The little guy is looking into a lot of empty space. We don't need so much empty space, so we'll put him so that his head is kind of on where the 2/3 lines intersect. And I don't think I want it actually, I don't want to, yeah, it's got to be like that. And click done. And now we have a beautiful photo. So let's take a look at the before on this. And there's the before. And here is the after. We have one clear main subject. We could maybe just brush in just a little bit more light in this area of the face because it's just so interesting to me. And now let's turn the lights on just a little bit, a little more brightness there. And we will call that done. So one more before and after. Oh, that's such a beautiful one. I would love to have that on my wall, actually. That is just such a beautiful photo. This was taken by Mark Johnson. Great job, Mark Johnson. This is just gorgeous. A JPEG photo by Gary Graham. This is our third one, and I said I wasn't going to do any processing on JPEGs because it's just so limited what you can do with them. You can't change the color temperature, but you can still do something. So I'm using that paintbrush. I'm brushing over the sky. I want to create a little more drama in this sky by turning down the amount of light in the sky. There we go, and we have instant drama. And I'll turn down the black tones a little bit to create even more. And this is a little bit too bright right here, so let's just paint in some darkness there. That's done. We have clutter. The bottom, all these rocks, not beautiful, and maybe a little bit on the right. Also, there's somebody's head right there. So we need to use the crop tool, the most powerful tool to create a better composition. So I've changed the aspect ratio to 16:9, and now we can get rid of that person's head. We can have less rocks. The rocks just are not beautiful. And I will click done on that. And let's turn up the dehaze and see what we can get. There we go. Real drama. Now we have too much drama in the sky. Go back to my paintbrush where I brushed, and let's reduce the amount of reducing the blacks. There we are. And now it looks a little, yeah, definitely looks there. There we are right there. And so just for a really quick edit on this one, we did it. So let's look at the before and the after. Big difference on this one, before and the after. And here is number 4. This is by Graham Jones. This is Spirit Island, which is located in Jasper National Park in the Canadian Rocky Mountains. It's a place that I love very much. And so the first thing I'm going to do here is to globally make those 4 typical adjustments of the highlights, the shadows, the whites, and the blacks. Already a major difference. Now I want to start thinking about the crop. What's the main subject? Clearly it's the island, but be really careful here. It's also the reflection. This is our foreground right here, so I want to make sure I don't cut the reflection off. I'm going to be doing a pretty dramatic crop. I'm going to go back to that 16:9 aspect ratio and thinking about what the main subject is. I am going to crop just slightly above the tree line there. And also I'm noticing the horizon line is not straight. I need to click the angle tool and drag the angle tool right across the back to try and lift it up again. And now it looks like the horizon is straight. That's caused by a tilted camera. So now we have a really clear main subject, but we kind of have distractions. We do have nice framing. There's these trees on the left. The 2 on the left create a frame between the tree on the right, but it's just a little too bright. It's kind of a distraction. So I'm dragging from the right over to the left what's called a, what is it called? A graduated filter. And I'm going to turn down the light over on the right. Now make a new graduated filter, kind of turn down the light a little bit over on the left. I'm kind of wanting to create a bit of a box here. And I'll call that done. And I want to do something with the water. Let's add some drama to the water. I'm grabbing that brush tool, my beautiful paintbrush. I'm brushing over the water and in the background as well. All water. I'm clicking my mouse. I'm holding my mouse. I'm dragging, dragging, dragging. And so now I've painted over all the water. And let's make it a little darker and a little more dehaze, which is just your favorite tool as a landscape photographer. Use the dehaze. Last but not least, we need to brighten up our main subject. That's the island right here. And let's make it pop just a little bit more, make it more heroic, because it is a hero. And wow, tourists travel from all around the world to get to this place every summer, and you have to take a boat to get here, a tour boat, or else you have to go in a kayak, and it takes like 4 hours of straight kayaking nonstop to reach this. It's 13 kilometers down the lake. And last but not least, it's the sky. We need to do something with the sky. I want more drama. So I'm just holding down my paintbrush, painting over the sky just to create that mask, and then I'll decide what shift in the color I want to do. So let's darken the sky, yeah. Let's turn up the dehaze a bit, yeah. And brighten the sky just a little more, and now we have a little more drama. Yeah, I'll have to call that done for now. Let's look at the before. There is our before and the after. Now we've really got something going on here. It's looking like real fine art landscape photography worthy of being printed. There's the before again, and there is the, there's not the after. Here's the after. Here's the after. Great job, Graham Jones, on this one. Good job with finding some framing between those two trees. Let's move on now to photo number 5. Forgot to say, this photo was taken by Nico Hatron. Really creative photo, Nico. I love the balance and symmetry here and just the centering of it all, the cyclist, really cool. So this next photo is number 5, and this is from Sam Wilson, and it's a sunset shot. And because this is a sunset shot taken with a raw image, it's a raw file. Remember from the Firebase acronym, I said shoot in RAW. Well, because Sam shot in RAW, it means that we have just so much more latitude to make massive changes here. So first things first, I'm going to change this aspect ratio. This is the main subject for me, is this tree. I want to put the tree kind of on the third line. There's still a little too much sky. I don't want to have that much sky, but there's nothing I can do about it. I would have rather have had just maybe 1/3 of the frame as sky. And also I'm seeing that the horizon line is not straight, so let's just drag our level across the horizon line and let go, and then it'll be straightened. So that's done. And now let's do something with this sky, and this is where raw files really shine. So I'll pull my graduated filter down from the top. We can darken the sky just a little bit to add some drama. Look at that pink there. Like, I don't even need to add any color. It's already just so nice. But let's see if we can drag a big brush right across kind of the middle of the sky here. And I just got to turn off auto mask and see if we can get just a little bit more blue out of the middle here, to see if that's possible, because it always looks good where you have kind of differences in color in the sky, like you're creating additional layers of contrast through color. And we did that. And now I'll drag one more brush across the bottom of the horizon line, and we'll warm that up to see if we can make it look just a little more sunsetty. And we don't want it to look like smog, which I kind of made it look, but if I turn up the tint, now we get real pink tones. So just with a few very quick global edits there, we have a massive difference. If I turn up the dehaze, it'll give us a little more contrast. And maybe with the dehaze, I can back off the black slider a bit just to give a little more light in the foreground. And for now, we're going to call that done just so we can move on. Let's click on reset. So there is the before, and there's the after. Much more powerful composition after that crop. There's the before, and there's the after. And again, I'm using the rule of thirds for the crop. See, this is the third line, and I'm putting the main subject at the intersection of 2 third lines, and that's what makes this a much more powerful composition. Sam Wilson, great job. And let's move on to photo number 6. This one is from Pedro Gilberto, and I say, are you kidding me? This is so awesome. I love this. Looks so incredible. So first things first, let's just drop these highlights down and open up the shadows, and then we're going to see what we're kind of left with. Set the white point. I'm looking at that histogram. I don't want to blow out the highlights. It's dangerous right here. We could blow out those highlights there, and let's get a little bit of the black point going so that we're creating enough contrast. This gives us our starting point. I want to paint with light like right off the beginning, but I want to put a radial filter right in the middle, kind of right over this center part, and turn a spotlight on just in this part of the image, just a touch, so that we're going to look at that just a little bit more. And obviously we know what the main subject is. It's so clear in this case, and it's this beautiful rock, and I'm going to paint over the whole rock so that only the rock I will brighten. I want your eye to go to this rock because it is such a hero. And so we'll turn up the brightness on it here, being careful not to overdo it so it doesn't look artificial, but I really do want that done. And now let's brush over the sky and create a little bit more drama in that sky, which is like one of my favorite things to do. I'm holding down my mouse button and I'm just brushing. Notice I'm not brushing over the brightest part of the sky. We'll do that separately in a separate little treatment. So I'm turning up the brightness just a little because I found it just maybe a little too dark. And let's cool it off. So I could cool it off that much, but I'll just cool it off a little and add some black tones to it. Like whatever is dark, I'll make it darker. Whatever is bright, I'll make it a little bit brighter. And so now we have a cold sky there. So let's add in one more brush. And I'm now holding down my mouse button and dragging my brush in the bright area of the sky. This is obviously the direction where the sun was coming from. And I'll even include this bottom part. And let's do what Hobby Sans does, what we learned from reverse engineering his photos. Let's add some warm light right there and a little bit of tint. Now, like we've got it going on in this photo. Like now we have a clear light source. We know where the light is coming from, and it's almost like the light is shining on our hero there. So I'll just play with that a little bit. Maybe it's a little too warm, but no, I like it. So I don't need to do a crop on this. We've got just enough sky there. And I'm just looking around. I think right here is a little bit of a distraction. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see this. So one last brush. I'll turn on the red paintbrush so that you can see where I'm going to brush this time. And I'm just brushing in where I want to darken, and click the paintbrush off, turn down the exposure, and we will call this done. So let's look at the before. There's the before. We have such a great starting point because Pedro has perfect camera settings on this one, perfectly level as well. There's the after. Boom! I love this so much. This makes me excited about landscape photography, and it makes me want to actually run out the door and go find this place, do the planning and the research now, and go take my own photo right here. So great job, Pedro. Is photo number 7 by Thomas Keeger, and there is a real learning point in this one. I'll drop down the highlights, open up the shadows, let's set the white point. I'm looking at the histogram as I do this. I don't want to blow out the highlights in the sky. There we are. And we'll set the black point. That's about good. I need to turn up the exposure overall on this one just a touch. And there we are. And then I can adjust the black point once again. But let's zoom in on this seagull up in the sky. What is this? I've been talking about it all week. This is motion blur. So we have no focus blur. See on this tree here, it's nice and sharp, but on a moving bird, we have motion blur. And one of the beautiful things about a RAW file is that it tells you what your camera settings were when you took the photo. And I can see that Thomas took this photo at 1/50th of a second, and it's way, way, way too slow for any kind of a moving bird. And that's why there's motion blur in the shot. Nonetheless, though, it's still a really cool photo because of the sunset. And so I'm asking myself, what's the main subject? Well, it's this curved leading line right down the middle. So we want to accentuate that. What's the villain in the story? It's all these parked cars here. And so I am now brushing over these houses and these cars right now. And I'm going to paint in a little bit of darkness over there on the left because I just don't want your eye looking at all that yucky stuff. Also, I want to use the crop tool, and I want the train tracks to be in the middle of this photo because that makes this then a balance and symmetry shot. And I definitely don't want to crop down lower because then we would lose the seagull. And even though the seagull's not sharp, that's okay. It kind of gives the impression that there's something moving in the photo. Like you can clearly see, okay, it's a moving bird. And so I'm looking as well, what else can I do with this photo? How about we paint in a little bit of brightness right down the center of the tracks. I'll go right actually over top of the tracks themselves on the rail. And then I'll just turn up the white point. So whatever is already bright becomes brighter. And I'll turn up the highlights. Whatever is already bright becomes brighter. There it is. So now we really see them. Last but not least, I want to darken that foreground. It's not exactly beautiful, all these rocks and everything. And so we'll just darken the foreground like so. And now we have ourselves a pretty decent looking photo. So let's reset it. Here's the before. This is what it looked like straight out of the camera. And there's the after, one more time, the before and the after, and looking nice. Great job, Thomas. All right, so I hope you liked that. Did you like seeing that? Let me know what you thought of, what you think about those transformations. Comment in the chat. Now, as you know, I do a lot of photography coaching, and some of the most fun sessions in coaching are talking about the type of gear that I use, and people love to know what do I use and compare it with what they use. Gear is always such a fun thing to talk about. So would you like to see what is inside my camera bag? I would really like to show you right now what kind of gear I actually take with me into the field, just so that you'll know the most important stuff that you need to take with you. So would you like to see that? So let me know in the chat if you want to see that, and let's get started right here. I want to show you literally, this is my camera bag, and it's a pretty big looking camera bag, but I love big camera bags because whenever you go out in landscape, if you're shooting sunsets, it always gets cold. Even if you're in the summertime, you're there till way after the sun is going down. You're going to be standing in the same spot maybe for a couple of hours. So I like to have a big bag so you can have a jacket in there. And in the top here, I have this thing that probably in every single country, it's called something different. This is called, in the USA, what's it called? Is it a wool cap in the USA? And in Canada, it's this really funny Canadian word. It's called a toque, and it's not spelled T-U-K-E either. Any Canadians, please drop the spelling of the word toque. It's an absolutely essential piece of gear. In the back, this is the back of the backpack, and it opens up, and that's where I keep all my stuff. I actually like having the access on the back because when I'm out in landscapes, I can put the whole thing down in the dirt, and then I have access like this. And then when I put the backpack back on, that dirt is not transferred onto the back of my jacket. Another really important thing for me is a super wide waist strap to actually carry the weight of your gear, because if you're going for any kind of a hike, all your camera gear, it weighs a lot. It weighs a ton. So you want that wide strap to carry the weight. I also want straps on the side like this to carry my tripod. I strap the tripod onto the one side. And the one thing that this backpack does not have that I really wish it did have, it should have an exterior water bottle holder so that your water bottle is accessed from the outside. You don't want to have to dig for your water bottle inside your pack. It's ridiculous. And last but not least, it has wide shoulder straps to really help distribute the weight. So let's talk about my camera and actually what camera that I use. And I'm going to show that to you right now. But first, I just want to deal with this one issue. And the one issue is this. I get this a lot. People say, Tim, you have a fully professional camera, but I don't. Am I able to take really nice photos with a cheaper camera? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. The true secret really to taking beautiful photos, it does not lie in the type of camera you have or how expensive it is, but it is all about that composition that you choose, creating a powerful composition. And that's something you can do with your phone, right? It doesn't matter what the camera is. Composition is all about your eye and choosing the powerful hero, choosing the one thing. So combined with that is your motivation to actually get yourself to the right place at the right time. And that means everything, which is why I've talked about it just so much during this 5-day summit. So I took this photo 10 years ago in Death Valley National Park with an old camera. It's called the Nikon D90. And by today's standards, this camera has such a small sensor, like probably your iPhone today is a better camera than the Nikon D90 that I shot this photo with. And yet this is one of my favorite photos of all time. I've sold it many times, and it's so clear. The beauty of this photo has nothing to do with the quality of the camera that took it. It has everything to do with the composition. And it's just two things. Number one, getting yourself to the right place at the right time. And number two, selecting a powerful composition. And then number three, using the right camera settings like I have showed you with the Firebase acronym. So drop in the chat right now, what are the 2 goals of camera settings? Okay, this is your little test. I've talked about this all week. I think I've said it 25 times. What are the 2 goals? So let's take one more quick look at an example of why you don't have to have a super expensive camera. Remember our summit speaker, Hobby Sans, he has this most jaw-dropping portfolio of photos, and he said during his interview that he is still using the camera that he bought 4 years ago on his trip to Iceland, which is when he really picked up a camera for the very first time. And he started photography then 4 years ago. And that camera, I remember because I was shooting beside him at the lavender fields in France. It is this this camera right here, and it's called a Sony A6500. This is a prosumer camera. It's very compact. It's a mirrorless. It doesn't cost a whole bunch of money, but this is what Hobby Sons is using to take his entire portfolio. So in answer to your question, do I need to be buying super professional gear to take nice photos? The answer is no. So let's look at my camera. I am using a professional camera. As I just told you, you don't need one, but I am using one because I get higher quality images from the sensor. And I want to show you something about it. And I have a thing on here, which is called an L bracket. And it's this thing on the side. And I'll put this on a slide, and I'm going to show you right now how I actually put the L bracket onto my tripod. And I'm dragging my tripod over. I'll show this to you in 1 second now. And let's go back to Tim. So this is my tripod, and I'll turn it sideways. And on the bottom of my camera is the bottom of the L bracket so that I can clip on the camera so that it's as per normal, just like everybody does, no big deal. But then if I want to take a photo in portrait mode, like to flip the camera up, like if I'm going to take a panorama, I can just flip it straight up and clamp it in, rotate, and now I can take a panorama image, and you'll notice that the center point over top of this camera is exactly centered with the center of the tripod. And this is what you want for a panorama photo. You don't want to be taking a photo like kind of over here and then move it to here and then move it over to here. It's not centered over one axis point. This is centered over one axis point, and it takes perfect panoramas. So I use an L bracket for that. Now, regarding my tripod, there are 3 kinds of tripod heads that you can essentially use. And the first type of tripod head is a ball head. So let's just take a quick look at a ball head. I brought one with me right here. This is kind of the most common that you're going to see. Maybe a little bit entry level, but they work great. So many landscape photographers use a ball head, and the gist of it is quite simple. It's just that there's a ball, and you can rotate your camera in any direction so that you can always level your camera and point up and down. I'm not crazy about ball heads because if you loosen off the tighteners, your camera may drop over to one side. Like maybe you just wanted to aim down a little bit, and then you're losing your level. So the next one after a ball head is called a pan and tilt. And on a pan and tilt, you'll have a couple of different axes, so that if you want to tilt forward, you can just undo one handle and only tilt forward, and it won't go sideways on you. So if we take a look back at the image here, that's the one on the right. That is called a pan and tilt. I used to use that. And then finally, I got the setup that I use right now, which is a really beautiful setup. It's expensive. You don't need this, but I have moved to this actual setup because it works so much better for panoramas. So here's how it works. It only has 2 functions. So it will rotate, which is called pan, and it will tilt forward or up. And that's it. That's all that it does. It doesn't have any more functions than that. So if I was taking a panorama, I could point down and then I can rotate just like that, and the tilt isn't changing. So it works really well for me. And this is made by a company called Acratech. And I'm not selling them, but I just want you to be aware of what it is that I use. So let's talk about stabilizing the tripod. This is a big thing. If you're ever going to be doing any type of long exposure photography where you're using a long shutter speed, then if it is a windy day, you are going to have a camera that is potentially shaking. So let's say you want to be taking a photo that's like 10 seconds long, a 10-second long exposure. Maybe you're trying to smooth out water, but it's really, really windy, and the wind actually buffets your camera, believe it or not. And one way around that, you'll notice just at the very bottom, there is a hook. See that hook that's there? It's shiny. Well, what I will do, and it's just such a great trick, you take your camera backpack and you hook it onto that hook. you make sure that the bottom of your backpack is just touching the ground so that it won't swing in the wind, causing even more instableness. And that works really great. It's just a really great trick. Next is neutral density filters. And this is something that Wendy Klein uses a lot for her photos. And let's just take a look at what these things actually look like. So I have a little nylon pack for my neutral density filters. And inside the neutral density filters, I'll bring back the camera and let's just throw one on really quick. So this is called the filter holder. And it just simply snaps on to the end of the camera. So now it's on. And then inside this little steel box is a neutral density filter. And this one is called a 6-stop. And it's very, very dark. It's like opaque. You can hardly see through it. So what this does is it darkens the whole photo. It just darkens everything. So now it's over the lens. And what it means is that during bright sunlight, I can now take a long, long exposure. Like, let's just say I'm standing in front of the ocean and there are waves on the ocean, small waves, and I want to try and smooth those waves out. Well, I'll put this thing on and then that will allow my camera to have a long shutter speed. So that's the most common type of neutral density filter. Wendy Klein specializes in using filters similar to this. And she uses it in the middle of the day or at sunset especially. Not the middle of the day. She doesn't shoot at the middle of the day. She shoots at sunset, and actually she's a sunrise girl. She loves those sunrises. She likes to make the clouds streak. So if there's wind coming in her direction, for example, and if she opens her shutter up and has a 1 minute long exposure because she's using one of these neutral density filters, it gives that feeling of movement of the clouds. They'll be streaking right across the sky, and it's such an awesome effect. Let's talk about a very basic thing that everybody needs, and we forget about it often. It's called a lens hood. And this just clicks onto the lens of the camera, and you need these if the sun is out, especially if there's any sun in the sky, because if the sun actually touches the glass on the end of your lens, then you will get lens flare, those big ugly globes of discolored light, and it will ruin many a photo, and this will at least help to reduce that lens flare. Next thing that I carry with me without fail is this little thing. This is called a wired shutter release. So I just plug one end into my camera, and essentially there's just a button here, and I use it just to go click so that I don't have to touch my camera with my hands, and it minimizes any camera shake. So this means I can use a much slower shutter speed, and I'll use this to fire off the camera. You can also get these as a wireless so that there is no wire, but I personally, I'm a wire guy. Why is that? Because I always find that when I use wireless stuff, the batteries run out at the worst possible times. Another great little trick that I actually got, ironically, from Wendy Klein is a piece of Velcro on the back of your shutter release. And there's a piece of Velcro right here that you can't see. It's just wrapped around my tripod leg. And then I can clamp my shutter release onto the side of the tripod, and instead of having it dangling by the wire. Just a great little trick. Lens extension tubes. This is a great one. So you saw the amazing work by Tim DeHaan, and he showed us his incredible floral macro photos. And he told me that some of his shots are not shot with an actual macro lens, but instead they are shot using a lens extension tube. And what this is, it's kind of like, it's the cheaper alternative to buying a macro lens. So here are a couple of photos that I shot with a lens extension tube on the camera that I am now about to show you. And the way that these work, it's really just empty space. All it is a spacer. And so the way that you use them is that you take the existing lens off your camera, then you snap that onto the camera body, and then you put your lens on top of it. So it has the effect of just pulling your lens a little further away from the camera body. And when that happens, it allows your camera to focus much, much closer to the subject. When I took that flower photo that I just showed you, the glass on my lens was literally about this far away from the flower. So it allowed me to focus very, very, very close to the subject, and they work really well, and they are very cheap. It's a cheap alternative to macro lenses. My lens cap rule. This is a big one. Sometimes it's the simple things that can really ruin your day. The lens cap. How many times have you lost your lens cap? You can't find it. And then you're at the end of the shoot, you want to put your camera back in the camera bag. You can't find your lens cap. It's like, where is it? Where is it? You're looking all over the place, and it becomes frustrating. I developed a system. I'm such a system guy. I like simple, simple, simple. I'm a creature of habit and routine. The way that I have overcome the lost lens cap fiasco is that I always, without fail and no matter what, use the same hand and the same pocket to put this lens cap in. So it's just like automatic. I always put it into my left front pants pocket and no other pocket ever, and I never lose my lens cap. Backing up my photos, last but not least, especially if you are traveling, you really need to get yourself a portable hard drive. I mean, even calling this a hard drive, it's basically like a gigantic SD card is really what it is. This is a Samsung portable hard drive. This is 1 terabyte. Like, think about that. 5 years ago, that wasn't even thinkable. 1 terabyte of storage space on this. I'm going to give away one of these at the end of the session today to those who comment in the group or in wherever you're watching right now. But if you are traveling, you absolutely need to be backing up your photos. If you're on a multi-day trip, this is even more essential. In my early days of photography, I wanted to save money on SD cards, and I would often upload my photos every night on a long trip onto my laptop. But now I make sure that I have a good selection of lots of SD cards for a trip, and I will never delete the photos or clean off an SD card in the middle of a trip. I'll make sure that I have my photos saved, number one, on all the SD cards. Number two, it's on the hard drive of my laptop. And number three, it's on the portable hard drive. And then if I have baggage, if I'm traveling by airplane, I will literally have those SD cards in a little Ziploc bag in my pocket as I get on the plane. And then the portable hard drive is on my carry-on luggage. And the portable hard drive I'll put in my packed luggage, and the computer, the laptop, will be in my carry-on luggage. So I have a copy of all photos in 3 different places. So if the worst happens, then we're going to survive. So the last thing that I could talk about would be lenses, but I am going to forego that because it's such a big conversation, and it's something that I usually limit to coaching programs. But suffice to say, as a general rule, if there's one thing that you are going to spend some good money on, if it's worth investing in gear, it's called good glass, quality glass. If you choose a camera brand that you really love and you're going to stick with that camera brand for life, then your investment into your lens is worth it, because the next camera you buy, theoretically, will be able to fit that same lens. So we are just about ready to do the live draw where I'm going to give away that photo gear, including the Samsung 1 terabyte hard drive. But I'm briefly going to go over the details of the brand new adventure photography program I released for the first time 2 days ago. And as soon as that's done, we'll do the live draw. And then I'm going to introduce you to the entire Photography Academy team, who have done a really incredible job in producing this 5-day live event. You might think I'm the only guy behind Photography Academy, but we actually have an amazing team who work so hard and who have worked so hard over the past 3 weeks to make this live event a reality. We have never produced a live event over 5 consecutive days, and it's been a big learning experience for me personally in many ways. And it's also been very rewarding for those of you who have actually embraced the training that you received. So you're going to meet our team very shortly. And also, as the very last thing, I'm going to give you your final assignment. So on Wednesday, for the first time, I introduced a brand new program called the Adventure Photography Bundle. And the biggest component of the bundle is 4 weeks of live coaching with me. So this is a bundle that has 11 tools in it to help springboard your success. It's prioritized learning. You only learn the important stuff, and you can skip the stuff that isn't important. And it's to help you achieve your photography goals, where you're going to learn from experts who have already achieved the goal that you want. And it's also live learning. So it's a 4-week live program. This is the heart of the program, is the 4-week live training, where you will meet once a week in a group setting on Zoom. In week number 1, I'll be showing you camera setting recipes for every outdoor genre of photography. I'll show you how to capture birds in flight, how to photograph landscapes, how to get sharp macro photos, how to make rough water smooth, how to create reflections, how to take sharp photos that are sharp from the foreground to the background. And since this is live training, you are able to stop me and ask any question and have it answered in real time. Another real benefit of live training with other people is that sometimes you don't know the right question to even ask. Other people ask questions, and when they ask the question, you go, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Great point. Week 2 of the live training program, I show you camera gear that you absolutely need so that you don't waste money on buying unnecessary things. I'll be showing you what lenses you need, what filters you need, what type of camera is the best for you, tripods, tripod heads, and the small accessories that need to be in your camera bag. And this is the type of session that will save you money, because I will hopefully prevent you from needlessly running out and spending money on so much gear. In week 3 of the live training, I show you how to overcome the most common problems photographers face that is connected with post-processing. I'll show you how to organize your photos on your hard drive so they never get lost and so you can find them very easily. I'll show you how to organize the library in Lightroom the right way, how to import photos, like get the photos from your camera onto your computer, and then how to export the photos to get them back onto your computer so that you can, if you want, post them on Instagram with the right sizes, or Facebook, or even big sizes for printing, and how to do that. So this session will remove a lot of frustration from your photo editing experience. And I'll even cover some tips on how to speed up your computer, because most photographers complain a lot about their computer being just way too slow. In week 4 of the live training, I show you how to create your own voice through photo editing, and how to paint with light, just like an artist uses a brush. And this is going to be very similar to what you saw me do half an hour ago, with the exception of the fact that I won't go so fast and you can stop me and ask questions in real time. Remember, this is a video meeting of group coaching, so I hear your voice. I can see your face if you choose to turn your camera on. I'll show you how to shift color tones and remove color tones that you don't want because they're distracting, how to sharpen your photos to perfection, how to add drama to your photos. And this will simplify Lightroom for you and give you a clear sense of direction and a clear goal for your photo editing, so you don't feel that frustrating feeling. And I'll just say one thing about Lightroom. I don't have any relationship with Adobe Lightroom in a business sense, but I've chosen it because it's cheap to get. It's $10 a month, and you get both Lightroom and Photoshop. You're not buying this from me. This is from Adobe. It's called the Adobe Photographer's Plan. And you get both Lightroom and Photoshop, and you always have the new updates for it. And it's the most powerful program in the world, and it's the easiest to learn. It makes so much sense, and I love using it. You can use other editing programs as well. The principles I'm showing you here will apply to all of them. The live training begins on June the 8th. That's a Tuesday. It's 1 live session per week for 4 weeks. And I am opening up a second day on Thursday. So you can choose to take the training either on the Tuesday or on the Thursday. You can jump between the 2 days if you want, like go on a Tuesday 1 week and on a Thursday the next week. But I'm just asking, you're only going to be there on 1 day per week, not both days per week. I've got to be clear about that. The coaching live sessions are at 1 p.m. New York time on Tuesdays or Thursdays, and they go for as long as you have questions. Of course, keeping within reason. They're often 2 hours. I've gone 3 hours. I don't want to go 3 hours. I think it's just too long, but they're as long as you have questions. I keep teaching and answering questions until you don't have any more questions. Also, the Adventure Photography Ultimate Bundle includes 5 masterclass from our 5 summit speakers. Here they are. This is the Wildlife Photography Masterclass from David Hemmings. It's a concise class. It's about 1 hour long. You can watch it in one sitting, and he covers gear, compositions, camera settings, and birds in flight, how you can take beautiful wildlife photos. You also get David's book called Bird and Nature Photography 101. It's an 85-page ebook, and it's packed with the info you need to create powerful and emotional wildlife photos. And you will also get a 1-hour masterclass with Wendy Klein on sunset photography. And you can watch this in one sitting. She'll show you how to get to the right place at the right time, how to plan, how to look for moving clouds in advance to capture amazing photos. She will also show you how she creates her trademark look of streaking the clouds in the sky and the camera settings and the filters that she uses, and how you can use long exposure to get that sense of motion in your clouds. Also, Tim DeHaan, he's going to show you how to take flower macro photos. It's another 1-hour class that you can watch in one sitting. And he covers how to make the background dark or black like he does, how to get sharp photos and the gear that you need to make your flower photos just pop right off the page. And you're going to learn how to take high resolution panorama photos from Chris Collicott, who I call the Pano King. He'll show you what to look for when you're finding the best possible composition for a panorama photo. And he talks about the camera gear that you need and the settings that you need to use to take high resolution panos. And finally, Annette Unheim will show you how to take fine art macro photos, and she will share her screen in Lightroom so that you can learn how to completely darken a background and also how to remove the green and the yellow tones so that your photos come out looking like the one that she has on the cover of this box. So this bundle, sorry, I just went ahead. So I have a quick a quick 1-minute video from the actual presenters that I just want to show you now.
Expected to be where I am now, from only 5 years ago from when I started photography.
There's something with the macro photography that really spoke to me. When you see all the details in nature and all the flowers and the weeds, it always amazes me.
People were appreciating what I was providing. They were putting it up on their wall. I got comments like, wow, the first thing I look in the morning is this picture. Thank you so much, Chris. And that felt really good right here.
For those of us who enjoy nature photography, whether you're just getting into it or whether you've been doing it for years, for me, that never changes. That feeling of excitement of getting a new shot, a great shot. I think that feeling never goes away, and that's one of the best things about what I do, is seeing that happiness and appreciation that people have when they get that shot.
Yeah, you just get away from it all and you're just in another new world when you're doing photography. If I've got clouds and they're moving, it makes me feel just like doing a dance. Sometimes I do a little dance. Oh wow, look at those clouds, they're moving. I'm going to get this really long exposure. I just love it.
Photography affords me the opportunity to have what I think are very, very pretty things and to hang them in my house.
It just feels amazing. It's like the best feeling ever. It gives me a sense of peace. Just feel like your heart sings somehow, or I'm not sure how to explain it. It makes me feel very proud actually.
My name is Tim Shields. I help people become award-winning photographers, and I can help you. So this bundle gives you options in 5 different genres of outdoor adventure photography. And sorry, I just got to switch my screen here. And it'll help you find your own photography voice so that you can really see what it is that you truly want. It gives you options so you can see what is available and how to actually perfect those different genres of photography. The Ultimate Bundle also includes the Photography Transformation Masterclass. This is the fundamental baseline of everything that I teach. It's the 4-step system. It's the system that I use myself for every photo that I ever take. And it's like a recipe that you follow. It's like a step-by-step process that leads you from the start to the finish of how you create the best photo of your life. Now, the most common question I've been receiving about this Adventure Photography Ultimate Bundle is that some people are a little confused, thinking that they already have some of the products that are included in this bundle, but the bundle is absolutely brand new. Every single product is new for this week, never released before, with the exception of this one course. But again, the key component of the course is the 4 weeks of coaching. Also, you're going to get the actual recordings of this summit, this 5-day summit. Now, we're going to be taking the replay videos down off the internet on Sunday this weekend, but the full-length recordings are included with the Ultimate Bundle, and you'll get permanent access to them inside your course library. And during this 5-day summit, we've covered research and planning, we've covered compositions, we've covered camera settings, post-processing, camera gear. I've given you some of my best techniques and one-pager documents, and all of this is included in the replay videos of the summit. And also included are the full-length interviews of the 6 summit speakers. Each summit speaker was interviewed for about 20 minutes, but because of time, we edited down the interviews to only about 4 minutes each, so which is what you saw live during the summit. So you'll get the full-length interviews that are included in the summit bundle, and you have lifetime access to them in your course library. Now, this one here is called Lightroom for Beginners. It's also included. You've never seen this before. It's brand new. It's 1 hour long. It contains the answers to most beginner level problems that you may have with Lightroom and with your computer. It has the answers for how to get photos off your camera and into Lightroom, and how to organize your photos on your computer, how to export them out of Lightroom. This is all beginner level instruction. It's about 1 hour long, and I recorded this course in front of a live coaching audience who were asking me questions in real time. So every conceivable question is answered during this 1 hour beginner Lightroom setup course. And finally, you saw me edit my photos today live in front of you. And in this course, I'm doing the same thing. I recorded this course in front of a live coaching audience who were asking me questions in real time as I was editing photos one after another, just like I did today. There are literally dozens and dozens of photos that I edit during this course. It's actually 5.5 hours of content here, and every conceivable question is asked by the coaching students while I was editing their photos. So that brings me to the end here. So everything I just showed you is included in the Adventure Photography Ultimate Bundle. The total value of all the products is over $6,000. There are 11 different products included inside the bundle. The most valuable component is the 4 weeks of live training with me. Now, if you have any questions about what people think about my live training, I'm going to show you a 55-second video. And this is in the words of those who have taken my live coaching.
Found it immensely helpful.
What you showed us in post-processing, that has given me the permission to become the artist again that I have always been.
I just really appreciate you and your style and your way of delivery. I feel like I just got so lucky to come across you.
And after your classes, now I do say I am professional.
And now it's like with few things, I can do whatever I want to achieve. So that is amazing.
All of this knowledge that I've gained is because of I made the choice to invest in this course.
Through your course, I've been able to now start teaching since I've just retired from nursing and conducting my own workshops. It's been fabulous.
And I think one of the things also I've learned from you is to definitely live your passion.
It's been a fantastic experience.
All that effort that you put into it, it pays off.
I can really say that I think that you've changed my life, and I think you've changed everyone's life that's on this course of instruction. So Thank you from the deepest part of my heart.
So thank you.
Thank you to all of you.
So thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
Live training is it's the greatest help that I can give you. So if you would like to get serious about taking incredible photos and you want to move your photography to the next level, then this is the way to do it. Nothing works as well as live coaching. Video courses on their own cannot compare with actually being able to interact with an instructor. And you saw a clip there of what the live coaching looks like. It's a Zoom meeting, and you're able to turn your camera on and talk to me and to others as well. The Summit special price for the Adventure Photography Bundle is $497 or 3 payments of $197. The response to the program has been amazing, and that's why I added a second day. So we now have Tuesdays or Thursdays to choose from for your once-a-week coaching sessions. They start at 1 p.m. New York time, and you will get the replay video uploaded into your course library so that you have lifetime access to it. So if you want to get started now, there's a link in the description of the video. that you are watching, it takes you to our website where you can register for the program. It begins on Tuesday, June the 8th. I will not be offering this 4-week coaching program again this year. So if you want to get coaching from me, then this is your time. The program is almost full up, and today is the last day that you'll be able to register for it. Registration is closing today. It's a live training program, so there has to be a cutoff day, and today is the day. So starting tomorrow, we will offer this same program at the same price, but it will not include the live coaching with me. Instead of the live coaching, tomorrow's program will include the replay videos from the live coaching sessions. So just to be clear, today is the last day to get the Adventure Photography Ultimate Bundle that includes 4 weeks of live coaching with me. But beginning tomorrow, you will still be able to purchase this program at the same price of $497, but it will not include the live coaching. You will get the replay videos of the 4-week live coaching. So I'm really looking forward to the live coaching sessions with those of you who have signed up already and enrolled. I will be sending you guys who have signed up already an email in the coming days with some more information about the start of the coaching program, including your Zoom links and details about the new Facebook group that we're creating just for this program. So if you've been sitting on the fence and wondering if you should join me for the live coaching, now is your time, because today is the last day. Are you ready for some gear giveaway? I love doing this. This is kind of the most fun of the whole thing. And just a quick caveat again, if you win something, I'm going to ask you to send an email to support@Tim's Photos. Remember, there are 2 S's in Tim's Photos. There's an S at the end, and so many people have been sending an email to the wrong email address without an S, and there's actually a guy named Tim who has that email address, and he's really upset. So include 2 S's, please, in Tim's Photos. So let's get going. The first thing that I'm going to give away is a Manfrotto mini tabletop tripod. And I actually just have one of these right here. Just a quick thing about this. Like, I really love them. I keep one in my camera bag. And if you're going to be taking a picture of something very, very close to the ground, it's just so easy to use this. And now your camera is like 5 inches away from the ground. It's great for really small flowers, sand ripples. If you ever go to Death Valley National Park and you're out in Badwater Basin where there's those hexagonal patterns in the salt flats, this is what you want. It's so much easier than using your full-size tripod, which often cannot get your camera low enough to the ground. So I'm going to give away 2 of these mini tripods. Let's put it back on the screen. There it is, the Manfrotto mini tabletop. I think it's got Pixie in the name as well. The first name, and what I'm doing here to choose these names is that I am zipping through the chat. I have a chat with the feed from YouTube and from the Tim's Photos Facebook page and the Photography Academy Facebook group all at the same time. I'm zipping through the chat and my mouse just landed on the name Leah Cassidy from Vermont, who is watching us live right now on YouTube. Congratulations, Leah. Please send an email to support@timsphotos.com with 2 S's in Tim's Photos, subject line, winner. And please, in a full sentence, tell us what you won. And we need 2 things from you. We need your address and we need your phone number. Second one is going to a Facebook user named Luann Williams. And Luann is from San Antonio, Texas. Great to have you with us, Luann. You know what to do to claim your tripod. So let's give away a couple of SD cards. This is the SanDisk Extreme Pro SD card. Great SD card. It's not the top of the line, but it certainly is great for any type of landscape photography or macro. And the winner from YouTube is Samantha Ingersoll from Virginia. Congratulations, Samantha Ingersoll. You've got yourself an SD card. So send us an email, support@Tim's Photos with 2 S's. Facebook winner, I hope, goes to Terry Sifo Smith from Golden, Colorado. So Samantha and Terry Sifo Smith, congratulations. You won yourself an SD card. Send an email with the subject line winner and make sure you include a sentence of what you won, as well as your address and your phone number. Congratulations. So now we come to a big one. This is a $130 SD card. I really love using this type of an SD card. It's known as an SSD SD card. What's with the SSD? It means there are no moving parts in it. There are no mechanical parts. All of the older traditional hard drives, even portable hard drives, even the ones that are supposedly military spec, they have moving parts inside exactly like a record player with a needle on the record. And this doesn't. So theoretically, it can withstand a lot more abuse. It carries more data, and it's just so small, and you plug it right into your USB port. So let me spin the wheel. And this is going from Facebook to TJ Kress from Chilliwack, British Columbia. Congratulations, TJ Kress. Please send an email to support@timsphotos.com. Subject line winner. Include what you won, your address, and your phone number. And we are also going to give away one Adventure Photography Ultimate Bundle to, it is going to a YouTube user, Steffi Pills from Berlin, Germany. Awesome. So great to have you with us, Steffi from Berlin. Yeah, I have fond memories of when I was in Berlin and able to photograph the Brandenburg Gate. It's just such an amazing place, so historical. So I want to introduce you to my team, and congratulations to all of those winners. The team is, this is a big thing because we have a really high functioning team at Photography Academy. I want to introduce you to the 3 admins of our Photography Academy Facebook group. It's Eva Maria Lang and Wendy Klein and Annette Unheim. All 3 of them are fantastic photographers. They put in so much time to moderate the Facebook group and to try and keep the feed clean and to keep it interesting. And that often means that we need to delete photos that don't meet our group rules. Some people get upset about that, but we're trying to keep the quality of the group high and keep it to just landscape photos, macro photos, wildlife photos, flower photos, and not have photos of people or our kids' birthday parties. So thank you so much to Eva Maria, Wendy, and Annette, who have worked very, very hard to make this entire summit happen. And as well, oh, this is so key, our customer service team, Glenn Mose and Judy Faustine. Glenn lives in Minnesota, Judy lives in Georgia, and they answer emails 7 days a week at that email address, support@timsphotos.com. They do an amazing job. Thank you so much to Glenn and Judy for helping to make this event happen. Also, we have our marketing team, Lauren Jane, who does marketing, Michael Mataluni, product development, and Shamira Islam, who does our Instagram marketing. Thank you so much for all of your help. And for truly the summit itself, our production team, Fernando Juarez is our summit producer for this 5-day live event. He is our video editor. Every single video you have ever seen has been produced and edited by Fernando. He is a world-class video editor, and I'm so appreciative for him. As well, Darren Zomerman, who has been just amazing in the research and the planning and the content development and the production of this 5-day event. Thank you so much, Darren. You've been absolutely incredible. Thank you also to our very talented presenters. Please drop in the chat. Like, I know you can't clap right now, but do the equivalent of online clapping. Drop something in the chat for Wendy Klein, Chris Collicott, David Hemmings, Annette Unheim, Tim Dehan, Hobby Sons. They all presented during this summit, and they were absolutely amazing. And also to my amazing wife, Leah, who has shot most of the videos as a videographer that you ever see, especially any videos where it's Tim standing there talking away. Leah is the one holding the camera. Thank you so much, Leah. I love you very much. So we have one final video, and do you want to be in it? We're going to create a final video with clips from everyone who has been watching the summit live, like you. So if you've been inspired by this summit, then we want to hear from you, and we want a video clip from you to include what you have to say in our final summit wrap-up video that Fernando is going to create. This video will be posted online. It will be used as part of our public advertising. If you want to leave us a video clip, it's super, super easy to do. In the description of this video, there's a link that says leave a testimonial. Click on that link. with your phone, and you'll be taken to a website where you can just turn on your camera right there and send us your video. If you forget where that link was, you can also go to photographyacademy.com, our actual website, and up at the top of the page, there is a link that says leave a testimonial. So I hope you do this, because it's going to be a really awesome video with person after person after person. I want to hear, were you inspired? Like, do you want to get out there now? Have you been bitten by the bug? Are you more motivated? Do you want to pick up your camera and walk out the door and create your own art? That's what I want to hear. I want to know if this summit has been impacting for you. Has it made a difference? All those challenges and all the time that you've put in. And so now it is time for your final assignment. And for this, you know, it's these 3 words. It's on my shirt. It's like the motto I live by. Number 1, explore. What is explore? It means you are a nonstop explorer. I mean, like, you're doing this every day. You're doing this now. You're on Instagram. You see a photo that you love and you say, you're curious, where is that? I want to look that up. I want to find that place. Do you think I could get there? Is it close to home? Or you're looking on Google Maps. You're looking for images that are close to home, your state park, your local park, doing a search with that park name in Google Images so that you can see what beautiful photos come out of it, see what others have accomplished before you, and then model their success so that you can leapfrog off that, springboard off it, and go create a photo that's even better than the original one that you saw. That's being a nonstop explorer. That is the number 1 thing that is going to help you create your own beautiful photos. Like, number 1, if you don't have the mindset of being an explorer, a pioneer, you want to go try new things, you're curious. If you don't have that mindset, nothing's going to happen. So take on that mindset, adopt it, be an explorer. Number 2, create. Create your own art. Go out there and experiment and try new things and be creative. Look at the compositions of other photos, reverse engineer them like I showed you, deconstruct them, and use the principles that you learned on your photos so that you can create even better photos than you ever have. You can create the best photo of your life by doing this. And lastly, when you do those first 2 things, when you're an explorer and you're a creator, you know what you're going to end up doing? You will inspire others around you. You're going to inspire your friends. You're going to inspire your family. They're going to be looking at what you've created and saying, wow, how did you even do that? Maybe I want to do that too. Can you show me how? So that's our motto. That is what we live by in Photography Academy. Explore, create, and inspire. And that's your final assignment. That's my challenge for you, is to live a life like that, because this is the adventure of your life. Don't miss it. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.